discussed about impacts. There are several. There are economic, social, cultural, political, environmental, personal impacts, intrinsic values, intrinsic feelings bring personal impacts. Some of them are unintended. You may have a great festival and later on you realize that you caused even some harm. There might be even negative impacts, and for different stakeholders. As a manager, you should try to imagine beforehand what kind of impacts you may have and make sure that the positive is bigger than negative. Quite clear, don't you think? Why I chose these cases, we read this Holden article, which was interesting. I myself was born in Savonlinna, and it's a small town which has this very big event going each year. And then, on the other hand, I live nowadays in Joensuu, and I see how the rock festival affects the people at Joensuu and the feeling, atmosphere of Joensuu. It's funny, but they do. And the point is that they are such small towns that have relatively big events going on. So it really impacts all the citizens and all the living, even though they don't last, they aren't there all the year. Savonlinna and Joensuu are both in eastern Finland near Russian border, but it has nothing to do with this thing. It's just, and both are held by private non-profit organizations. They are associations, they don't have a real public status, and you'll see how this affects. But both are international and big in Finland. Maybe in Bilbao these are just every weekend. Savonlinna has only 36,500 residents. It's located in Lake Finland, Järvi-Suomi, that is famous for its lake sceneries. But in Savonlinna especially there is this medieval castle, Olavinlinna, St. Olaf's Castle, and the Opera Festival. It's mainly known by the Opera Festival. Opera Festival, on the other hand, was originally founded at 1912, but it went down by the First World War and started again at 60s. And now it's every July, whole July, maybe a few days in the beginning of August. For a month there's classical opera. They have had several world premieres. They do appreciate modern opera. There are family operas for children, Norppa-opera, Saimaa Seal-opera, for example. They have used crowdsourcing while producing these operas. They are quite innovative and in this time, I feel. And there is also foreign opera companies visiting. There have been, for example, Mariinsky and Covent Garden, but on the other hand there have been Estonian Theatre, and there have been from Barcelona a opera group. Where am I going? This is when the slide changes. No?
Yes.
Yes. Oh dear. The photos are nice, but let's get back. This is just a big look at this year's opera festival. 30 performances, 6 operas, lots of other concerts and stuff. I pointed out that there was a heavy metal band Amorphis at the castle playing as well this year. But and ballet gala and different kind. They are trying to impress new audiences, I see. There was once a ballet festival in Savonlinna as well, but it fell down because the summer season in Finland is too short for both big festivals. And now these nice pictures. There's the castle at the night time, and it makes a quite wonderful sceneries for opera backgrounds. Then on the other hand we have this rock festival. Change. Yeah. Bigger city. I live there steadily. My permanent job is to work as Joensuu City Orchestra's production and marketing manager. But now I'm here for this project for this year. 12th biggest city, not very big anyway. It's known almost for nothing but this lake sceneries. And sometimes there was this skinhead happily not anymore. There's University of Eastern Finland is located halfly there, halfly Kuopio. Then this we thought about international brands, but this is not cultural brand, but Abloy. Is it familiar to anyone?
Yeah.
Makes locks. And there's floorball and rock. I guess. This is my opinions. I'm not sure. Does anybody know Joensuu from any other things? No.
Karelian pies.
Well, Karelian pies. Yes, but it's the whole North Karelian thing. It's not Joensuu. But the rock festival, it's the second oldest and biggest festival in Finland. And the association that holds the festival has many other things as well. It's not concentrated on this rock festival. It has also a rock film festival. They keep up a restaurant, clubs. They give education for pop bands, musicians. They have concert trips, and they have foundation that gives supports the local new bands. So it's quite a lot, many activities. And the festival itself is not for profit. If there is some profit, they use it as with the foundation to support the bands. And for next year's festival, of course. And now quick look to this year's festival. Change. Oh. It's morning for him too. And now I point out again, since there was Amorphis at Opera Festival, this year's Ilosarve Festival had Kuopio City Orchestra playing with humor rock band Eläkeläiset, pensioners, at the club. And our Joensuu City Orchestra have been playing there as well for several times. Last time was with Anthony and the Johnsons. Do you happen to know them?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. It was a couple of years ago. But it tells also something about this Joensuu culture, that our city orchestra really have had several concerts with rock bands, like Happo Radio, for example, Finnish No. And so it's somehow we have taken this rock thing for ourselves. But Ilosaari Rock had itself 55 bands this year, 5 stages, knitting, skating, ping pong, yoga, everything fun. And some nice pictures. It's located by the lakeside. It has beach. This is from the Rentolava, relaxed stage, where it's mainly reggae. But there is this tents and clubs and everything. There's almost the whole area there. Then we'll get back to the opera. Since now you know these festivals by heart. About the scale of the opera festival. 8.5 million euros. This was last year. This year's figures I didn't get yet, since it just ended. 52,000 tickets. Its big proportion of ticket sales related to budget is almost over 60% of the budget, which is quite big for a cultural event. 1,000 persons working. Government grant, note this, 740,000, and the town grant 300,000. And because the castle is owned by government as well, it's under the museum ministry, or I don't know I don't remember the official name. They give rent subsidy, so actually they are there for free, but it's counted that it's worth 400,000 euros. And then they have this, of course, sponsorship funding 10%, and the other funding as this club opera, which have different kind of annual payments for anybody to join in. All the firms might buy some tickets through that. On the other hand, Ilosaari Rock Festival, and this was one point. The budget is the question mark. It's not public. Visitors in 3 days last year was 55,000. Walkers, much more than opera, but it's a bigger area, and it's only one weekend. There's volunteers, a huge amount of volunteers. Only public funding from Joensuu City, and it's shared with the Rock Film Festival. So it's almost nothing. But on the other hand, they tell these kind of nice statistics. If you are someday a festival security manager, make sure that you're in good shape. You can walk about almost 65 kilometers in 3 days. Hence 8.5 kilometers. For 55,000 people, there's 400 toilets. I guess it's enough. My point here was that I guess this is just my thinking, but because the opera festival has such a big amount of public funding, they are also more open about their statistics and their budget and their economics. They are somewhat responsible for the society, maybe. And the Ilosaari Rock this is marketing what they give out. Then there was at the University of Eastern Finland had this study about Eastern Finland festivals, others than these two as well, but here are some statistics from the study about the economic impact. There's the inhabitant, ticket sales amount, and the millions amount of tourists. And the tourist earnings are counted that there is no the local people's consumption in, and there is no ticket sales in that figure. So it's one way of trying to avoid this leakage problem, that how much money is going out, because the biggest leakage perhaps is the wages of the performers. So when they don't account the production of these festivals, it doesn't affect these figures. So maybe it's worth for Savonlinna to put there the 300,000 euros. What do you think? I guess it could be. There is, in addition, other economic impacts by the production. Again, Opera Festival is more open about these. The festival is for a month, and they prepare the festival for the other month, so they stay there for quite a long time at Savonlinna. They also employ a lot of local people. Like my brother was once a Verdi's opera Aida as a soldier, so he walked around with a stick in nice costume. He didn't have to sing, but they paid for. There's a lot of local young people that get some summer jobs like that. And it increases the other tourism as well. It's one big thing. Rock Festival is just one weekend. It uses emphasis of using the local firms, businesses and associations, but it doesn't give out the figures. And the study also had a survey and asked about these feelings from the citizens. And as you can imagine, it's a small town, poor town. In Eastern Finland, every city is poor. So there is always the public discussion about elitism. Is the opera worth of getting that city grant? Could it be used with old people, at the hospitals or at the schools? These are always matters of discussion at the city sector or city level. Yeah.
This grant is just in paid money, or
yes, this is paid money.
Kind of sources, for instance, letting them public buses.
No, this is money.
Only money.
Money, yes. There might be some other arrangements as well, but this is money. And the one negative impact of this festival for citizens is that when July comes, many cafes and restaurants and hotels and that kind of things raise their prices. So it's for local people, it's not that nice. The strawberries get more expensive by the opera season and coffee. But on the other hand, it's Savonlinna's culture. They have used. I got used to it when I lived there as a youngster. And it brings new companies. It's such a big event and it lasts so long time. It brings customers, better image in national media as well, and new partnerships. They value this thing, those businesses. With festival and with each other, they get these packages of accommodation and food and opera and massage and something else, maybe some canoeing but of course there is always a risk of unnecessary investment. It's never that simple. Ilosaari Rock Festival lasts only for 1 weekend. It doesn't have such a big, but there is still a hope that maybe sometime day it would be a better attraction, and it have had enlargement. The other events around the Rock Festival have enlarged the thing for lasting a week. The week before Rock is called as a Rokkiviikko, and then there is at the town much different events and happenings. And
sorry, is in the case of the opera been estimated the amount of money that has been earned in the sold of the tickets and rings? And
the ticket sales was about 5 million euros.
so much more than the investment.
Yes, from the whole amount of public funding was 1.4 million euros about. And the ticket sales were 5, and the other earnings, the tourism earnings to town was 4.6 million. Then the social impact or cultural impact or socio-cultural impact to audience, they have these intrinsic feelings. They come again. It's quite a unique venue to have a quality opera experience. As you can imagine, its average member of audience is over 50 years old woman and has a high level of education. I guess there's no surprise in that. Or did you think that opera enthusiastic would be a 20 years old boys, men? Excuse me, men. But okay, locals have some impacts as well, or are impacted. Although the only little amount of the paying audience is from Savonlinna, but there is also these free entrance events that Opera Festival organizes, like morning opera morning openings, and the locals know how to get free tickets, and for example main rehearsals are open for volunteers and volunteer workers, and if you know the right person, you can get ticket to general rehearsal or the main rehearsal and such things. And locals feel quite good about this festival. I don't read this out loud. And what's the time? Time is almost ended. So now I'll just click these out. Lots of good, nice impacts. And about the cumulative effect, as I say, it brings such a lot of other events to the town. It's full of happenings at July. Art exhibitions, galleries, sightseeings, museums, everything. Jazz, rock, tango. Quick picture from the town. There's the morning opening. There's some opera members speaking and singing. The marketplace is full at the summertime. There's the sightseeing, and it doesn't quite seem to get from there. And then same figures from rock. Under 25, there is the 20 years old men and women will relax. Only strawberries are better than Ilosaari Rock, says one member of the audience. So it's quite known as a relaxed and nice atmosphere place. And again, the identity of the citizens, inhabitants, is the one thing that it has. And here again, there are over the year the rock cumulative events. Rock Film Festival at November, maybe the biggest. Then there's the Happy Grandpa Rock, Kids Pop and Kids Rock, and the Pop Street City Festival goes the week before the rock. If this wasn't that slow, we would have more time. And nice photos from the Rock Film Festival and other events. some negative, which goes for both festivals. This was somewhat, I got smiling when I heard that the opera festival causes noise pollution, but not everybody loves opera. I totally understand. You don't have to. But the disagreement in Savonlinna is that town grant and the elitism. Well, as you can imagine, rock brings up these questions of immorality and noise and littering. Rock is bad, very bad. It spoils your kids. Slow. About the managing part, we'll go quickly. Only 3 slides left. The objective for opera festival is opera. They are somewhat elitistic in a way that they don't want to do anything else. They have this intrinsic value and institutional value. They love good opera. And at the survey, some entrepreneurs wished more cooperation, and the citizens of the town wish for more consideration. They feel that the opera is not for everyone in Savonlinna. They feel that they should be taken more into, and maybe have some more tickets. Of course, it would be fun to have free tickets, but they don't. Even though they are proud for the opera festival and they love the town and they love the opera festival, but they don't feel that they are part of it. On the Joensuu, maybe it's a bit different. But also the Joensuu festival has much more active role in managing these impacts, especially these negative impacts. They have meetings with the residents nearby. They discuss through media with citizens that what can we do to make these things better? How can we help that you don't feel that the noise is too bad? Because the festival is near city center, so it has a great these littering and noise impacts all over. But on the other hand, it lasts only 1 weekend, so in Joensuu most citizens are like, okay, it's 1 weekend, it's a rock weekend, it's over then. So it's not that bad thing. Then there's this fast extra thing about the environmental impacts. When you are managing something, you can also bring up your own values in what you're doing. I don't go for these traffic jam problems now, but it's quite, I don't know if it's a marketing strategy, I rehearsed this word yesterday, or their personal value that they want to bring up, but they have really much of these environmental issues, that they use green energy, they recycle very effectively, they encourage the audience recycle as well, and use the public transportation and using fair trade products. And they have a special environment ticket that you can pay few euros extra and support. This year it was the conservation of freshwater trout, fish in the Saimaa that is almost extinct. So they have had these grants or certificates during years. And the last question to think. I don't know, we don't much have time to discuss, but but as you saw, one had 1.44 million euros of public funding, one had 34,000 euros, which was even shared with that rock film festival. What do you think?
It's a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's in Estonia it's the same thing, that classical music is supported by the government, but bands have to manage it, festivals have to manage more of their own.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfair.
It's unfair, but it doesn't seem to bother the rock festival. They are still going on well. They have the money from the audience, and they have more these business partners.
Also in Helsinki, I think things like the opera house and things get a lot of public funding, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
And they also have really high ticket sales.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's these loads of marginal, small festivals and weekend events
Mm-hmm.
that are done almost completely by volunteers.
Mm-hmm.
They have very little chance of getting funding,
And
so there should be some kind of balance.
Yes, And to squeeze the knife in the wound, I must say that the 740,000 euros that Opera Festival gets, the straight money from the ministry, is biggest fund that any festival has in Finland. They take the majority of the
And it's also like because many of the people who go to opera festivals, they can afford to buy
even more
tickets.
expensive.
Yeah.
This year, the cheapest. I even considered of going myself. The cheapest ticket was 70 euros, I guess, or closer to 100 euros.
You can get last minute tickets for 10 euros.
Oh, you did, because
you can get
this
them
year
special,
they because they announced after the opera that they did change their strategy, that they got away those cheap and mid-price tickets, and they sell only good tickets and expensive. Yes, but it was in the media after the opera festival, so I don't know if
No,
there
I'm
was
also
some.
talking about the National Opera. That
National
they,
Opera,
they
yes.
have the last minute tickets for 10
Yeah.
euros.
Yeah.
The opera festival tickets, I'm not sure about the prices. I think they are
Yeah.
fairly expensive, of course.
But what do you think about these instrumental values? Should opera festival maybe produce something for the society, only for society, not for?
The economic impact as a whole is not calculated.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, probably the economic impact as a whole, taking
It's
into
enough
account the
for
tourists,
society.
the indirect expenditure,
Mm-hmm.
probably are much bigger than 1.44
Mm-hmm.
euros.
Yes, it was.
So
Yes.
that all that money is recovered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The intangible effects are not valued here. Yeah, I was pleased to see figures, I must say, and it will be interesting of valuing the intangible effects of this. By intangible, I mean non-market-driven effects of this festival, not only social, but from the branding perspective, connectivity, visibility, and so on. And it will be very interesting to analyze this case study. And I would like to raise another issue. I was also pleased to see this side effect you mentioned of prices, price rise. Was it strawberries?
No, strawberries and coffee, and
Yeah, because from the city perspective, normally when you implement an investment in a cultural infrastructure, like the Guggenheim Helsinki project, then immediately you have land price increase. Very sharp land price increase in the city. So this means that the production costs for all the remaining sectors increases. The salaries increase, land increase, and everything increases in the city.
Yes.
So if the remaining sectors do not increase their productivity, there's a trade-off. I mean that as a result of the cultural investment in the city, there could be companies that are closing because of the increase in the cost of production.
Yeah.
So in your case, the effect is very short because they are
Just too much.
But
Only
I mean,
month.
the concept itself is very important because this side effects of prices, increasing prices, that happens so many times so well, it's not even analyzed by culture managers.
Yeah.
So my congratulations for this because I think it's
For those.
very important.
So the references there were, but they're in Finnish, of course, these studies. But it was a big EU project where they analyzed these festival impacts in Eastern Finland, because Eastern Finland is a very poor area in Finland, so they want to support the tourism and things happening there.
I have maybe one point for the social responsibility of the opera festival. That, for example, in the family operas, they actually do engage all the school children around Finland to create the write actually the plots and design the costumes and kind of create the operas, and then they select one, I guess, and then produce it with the students.
Yes.
But they don't really highlight it in their marketing.
Yeah, it was last year. I guess they didn't do it again. Or did it?
No,
And then it was somewhat
I think they did it
in the
a couple of times.
Okay, yes. And the Norpa opera was also
It was
halfly.
created by the children, partly. Yeah.
So just about the same subject. I think when Savonlinna Opera Festival, they have like most of the money they get is their own money, and the public money is a small
Yes,
representation.
even
So-
60% of comes from the ticket sales. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So in that sense, I think they have a lesser responsibility. Of course, they do have responsibility to give something to the public,
Yes.
but not as much as the National Opera,
Yeah.
which is most of the money is
Yeah,
public.
that's true. I thought this.
Yeah, exactly. And,
Right,
and
yes.
it is called the National Opera, but it's situated in Helsinki, and there's a big amount of Finland, like above Helsinki. And if you live in Rovaniemi, for example, it's impossible for you to visit the National Opera just like this because it costs so much, first of all, to come from Rovaniemi to Helsinki. So in that sense, I think they have a much
They have
bigger...
responsibility, but have you noticed that actually they are going on tour
Yes,
this
that's-
winter?
yeah.
They have this couple of small operas that
Yeah,
are going to the other sides of
exactly.
Finland.
And I think that is definitely their responsibility to
Yeah.
get out of Helsinki and go where the people actually are, if they want to call themselves National Opera.
Yeah, but how about the National Museum? They
Yeah,
pack
yeah,
their bags and go
exactly.
for
Yeah.
a tour. Yeah, why not?